Do you want to reduce your energy bills? Or maybe you want to use greener energy? Go solar and get a discount. Right now, Which members can get a 7.5% discount on solar panels and their installation if you use Heatable, a Which trusted trader approved service. You can also include a storage battery and EV charger, handy if you're looking at making the switch to an electric car. To make use of this exclusive offer, simply head to which.co.uk/solar-offer, that's which.co.uk/solar-offer before the 30th of September 2025. And if you're not already a Which member, you can grab a year's membership for 50% off the usual price. To do that, go to which.co.uk/podcast offer to get involved. Start your solar journey today. Go solar and get a discount with Which.
How can you tell if someone's a Mac user? Chances are, they'll tell you. Hello, welcome to Which Shorts. This week, I'm going to be asking you if you should ditch the Windows PC and make the switch to a Mac instead. Or, if you're already an Apple devotee, maybe I'm going to convince you that Microsoft is best. In the August-September issue of Which Tech, James O'Malley detailed all the benefits of moving over to the slick world of Apple for your desktop or laptop needs, but also explained why you might be better off sticking with what you know. Here's James's piece, adapted for the podcast, this week read by me, James Rowe. Apple fans aren't like ordinary computer users. Our research reveals that they're real devotees. In our latest survey of nearly 10,000 laptop users, we discovered that 90% of Apple owners say they will stick with a Mac the next time they upgrade. The next closest result was 79% of Microsoft Surface owners and just 70% of Dell users. Hearing that, you may be tempted to make the switch from a PC to a Mac yourself. But should you? After all, in October this year, Microsoft will end support for its Windows 10 operating system, which is still used globally on around half of all desktop PCs and laptops. This means that Windows 10 holdouts will face a choice. Is it time to upgrade to Windows 11, or is it time to join Apple? Oh, and you could also extend your Windows 10 license by a year, but that's just a temporary fix. Well, if you have an iPhone, you'd soon notice the advantages of your devices being part of the same brand's ecosystem. Take iCloud for example. If you use the service on your phone, your Mac OS Photos app will have all your iPhone photos inside it. Similarly, you can use the Messages app on your Mac to send and receive text messages using your computer. And if a call comes in while you're on your computer, you can even answer it on your desktop without needing to pick up the phone. Oh, and you can copy text from one device and instantly paste it onto the other, which can be surprisingly useful. What if you need a higher quality webcam on your Mac? Well, you can simply use your iPhone. And what if there's an iPhone only app you wish you could use on your computer, such as Instagram? Well, Apple's Mac OS operating system has an iPhone mirroring feature so you can control your phone on the big screen. And it's not just your iPhone that can sync up with your Mac. You can use your iPad as a second monitor or an extended screen. Your AirPod headphones work seamlessly too. Say you press pause on Spotify on your iPhone, you can instantly press play on YouTube on your Mac without doing anything else. No more fiddling around with those Bluetooth settings. And if you have an Apple Watch, open your Mac and the screen will unlock automatically with no need to type in a password. Until late 2020, Macs used to run on the same Intel x86 chips that were found on many PCs. But Macs now run on a custom-designed Apple Silicon, which is based on the chips in many smartphones. These new chips run much faster than the x86 ones, they generate less heat and use less energy. So not only are Macs now more efficient, they have a notably longer battery life and are often much snappier to run with more intensive tasks. Microsoft is trying to keep up. They too are making the switch to new chips for their Copilot Plus branded PCs. But unlike Apple, it can't force all apps to be competitive with them. So it may take a little longer for Microsoft to reach Apple's level in this regard. Apple Macs offer a slicker experience too, and it feels that way. You'll see the way that windows animate as they minimise, in how the operating system uses transparency and shadows to subtly indicate how different objects on the screen are interacting, or in how many third-party apps look and feel similar to apps made by Apple itself. Windows 11, on the other hand, can feel clunkier with its system settings. This is where half of the controls you need are inside a modern Windows 11 app, and the other half are buried inside an old-fashioned control panel window that could be straight out of Windows 95. This is because Windows is designed to work on everything from regular laptops to even smart fridges, where macOS is only made for a handful of Apple-designed products. That's a huge difference in the amount of products the different systems need to be tried and tested on before being released. What about security? Well, historically, Macs have always been considered more secure than Windows PCs. One reason for this is simply popularity. There are fewer Macs in the world, so they present a less attractive target for hackers and malware. However, this may change as Apple's computers become more popular. But even if this is the case, macOS still has a security advantage over Windows, as Apple exerts much tighter controls over apps that can run on its systems. In fact, if an app hasn't been properly notarized by Apple, by default, Macs will refuse to run it. And although Microsoft has introduced similar controls to crack down on malware, Windows has historically been a much more open operating system. This can have its advantages, as it makes Windows more flexible, but ultimately, if you want your data locked as tightly as possible, a Mac is probably your best bet. What about if and when something goes wrong? Well, there are no tricky questions about the best place to take your computer for repair, as Apple has a support service that it calls the Genius Bar in all of its Apple stores. There are 40 currently open in the UK. Unlike PC repairs, which can be more haphazard, because Apple operates its own repair scheme, you can usually be confident that it will have the right components and you won't pay over the odds. At least, not any more than Apple's premium pricing charges. And if you're willing to pay extra, Apple has a service called AppleCare. This offers unlimited accidental damage support for your devices, so if the worst happens, you'll have peace of mind that you can get it fixed. Granted, it's not cheap. The least expensive option is for the 13-inch MacBook Air at £70 a month, or 199 quid for 3 years. Maybe I've not convinced you. So why should you stick with Windows? Well, there's greater compatibility to begin with. Want to play that old game from the 1990s you used to love? Unlike macOS, Windows prides itself on long-term compatibility and will happily run apps designed for Windows XP, or even 30-year-old Windows 95 in certain cases. There's more choice of hardware too. Only Apple makes devices that run on macOS. By contrast, Windows is designed with flexibility. This means if you don't mind getting a little technical, you can configure your hardware exactly how you need it. Windows PCs also tend to be more easily upgradable. Need extra RAM or storage? You might be able to unscrew the case and pop some in. But what if you have a Mac and want something faster? You'll probably have to take a trip to the Apple Store and, as we've learned, it won't be cheap. In terms of prices, you'll likely pay more for an Apple product. Apple makes premium products and charges premium prices. Sure, its machines are beautiful, but you can probably find a similar spec Windows PC for a much lower price. And maybe you don't fancy the learning curve. If you spent the past 30 years on Windows, then you'll likely be a whiz at all those keyboard shortcuts and how to figure the operating system to exactly as you need it. And if you do make the switch, you'll have to learn a new way of working, which can be annoying. So if it ain't broke, why fix it? That brings to an end another podcast from Which. There's loads more for you to read about everything we discussed today. Just head to the episode description for more useful everyday advice. There you'll also find an exclusive offer for podcast listeners like you to become a Which member for 50% off the usual price, giving you access to our product reviews, our app, one-to-one personalised buying advice and every issue of Which magazine across the year. Plus, your membership helps us to make life simpler, fairer and safer for everyone. If you'd like to know when we release a new episode, then make sure you press subscribe wherever you're listening. That way you can be one of the first to listen. And for any questions, comments or anything in between, follow us on social media @WhitchUK or email us podcasts@which.co.uk. Goodbye.
If you're enjoying this podcast from us here at Witch, then why not become a Witch member? Right now, we've got a special offer, especially for podcast listeners, meaning you can choose any of our 3 membership tiers for 50% off the usual price. Starting at just £39.50 for a full year, you can get Witch magazine delivered direct to your door. For the same price, you could also choose a digital Witch subscription, giving you access to all of our product reviews, the Witch app, and the digital edition of Witch magazine. What's more, you'll also be able to use the Ask Witch service for personalised one-to-one buying advice. Or why not get a full access Witch subscription for just £49.50 for a full year? Don't forget, that's 50% off the usual price. To join Witch or to find out more, just head to witch.co.uk/podcast offer. That's witch.co.uk/podcast offer, or click the link in the description for today's podcast for 50% off a Witch annual subscription.